And look at this. I mean, he admits that he's speculating. They might have split up. They might have capsized. They may have broke deep and took water. He's as much
your guess
saying,
is good as mine.
I don't know.
But I do know one thing. The cook was a wuss and the captain was terrible.
It is the 50th anniversary of the sinking of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
Oh, God.
Which means we're going to be tortured by that god-awful song.
It is a terrible song. How did that get to be number one? Is my question.
I don't know, and I don't know what our weird attraction is to tragedy and death, and why we are so attracted to that in song, in movies. I don't know.
But yet here we are. Gordon Lightfoot, rest his soul.
Yeah,
he will not be around to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
So the story I understand was Gordon Lightfoot, shortly after the sinking of this ship, reads an article in Newsweek, Time, something like that.
Newsweek.
And just gets so compelled that he feels like he has to write a song about this. Mm-hmm. And it just becomes part of his world. And what he ends up with is, I don't know why we like this song. I mean, the collective we, not you and me, we. You and me, we. I know.
Yeah. I mean, it's very dirgy. I may have been topical or something along those lines. He did take some, and even if fully admits, I read an entire article about this because I knew we were going to speak about it. Because if you're just new to our channel, our YouTube channel, go back and listen to the dismantling we did years ago of this song. That I started as a fan of the song because my dad was a fan of Gordon Lightfoot. And as you broke it down for me, Johnny, I became to detest this song because of the artistic license that Gordon Lightfoot takes in kind of putting the pieces together. Now, he fully admits as he got older, apparently, he changed some of the lyrics of the song when he would perform it live.
Okay.
He would, because when the hatchway gave in, he got a lot of blowback from people saying, hey, these guys were professionals. Yeah. That wouldn't have been an issue.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. That'll come up.
Okay. So,
let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Okay. But long story short, he changed that, and then there was something about the mess hall. He had used kind of a word that they took offense to, so he changed it to rustic. Now, he refused to go back and re-record the song with the new lyrics, saying that would ruin the integrity of the original product. But as he aged, when he would perform live, he would substitute the new lyrics in deference to the seafaring folk who made him so popular.
God, shut up, Lightfoot.
Yeah, shut up, Gordon.
So, and I think it needs to be said that, truthfully, very little is known about this wreck, and that's the problem. I mean, he's created a story
in the bodies
where we don't really know what the story is. He has invented this story, and so very little is known about. It's legitimately a tragedy. But let's step through this thing, and you start to see where this damn song falls apart. All right, so he begins saying the legend lives on from the Chippewa on down of the big lake they call Getchu Gummy.
Right. Just fun to say Getchu Gummy.
Right. And see, that's what's kind of bananas about this is it's the Ojibwe, which was another name for the Chippewa, and they referred to it as Anishinaabe Getchu Gummy. Oh, so not Getchu Gummy? No. So right off the bat, first lyric, he's already screwed that up. Yeah, and you can see that the Ojibwe gives the name of Ochipwe Kitchi Gami. Okay. Getchu Gummy comes from Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, the Song of Hiawatha. He said it, and so Gordon Lightfoot said it. Okay. God, so he's already making up shit. Yeah, already making up shit. First lyric in, he's already making shit up. And that's easily, you can look back, and that was easily kind of, even back then, you could have gone to your local library and looked it up there, Gordon. He could have asked, but the reason he does it is so that he can do a rhyme coming up. He wants to say gloomy, so he had to say Getchu Gummy.
Getchu Gummy.
The lake, it said, never gives up its dead when the skies of November turn gloomy. With a load of iron ore, 26,000 tons, more than the Edmund Fitzgerald weighed empty. The good ship was true. The good ship and true was a bone to be chewed when the gales of November come early.
Now, interesting, I don't know if you know in your research, but apparently, from what I read, the Edmund Fitzgerald consistently was like the number one hauler of this iron ore and consistently would break its own record to the point where one of the captains, not the captain on the ship the day it goes down, but one of the captains apparently used to blast music as they would go through, and people would come out, and he would wave at them as he would blast this music as the Edmund Fitzgerald would go on its merry way.
Yeah, probably good music. Probably not none of this garbage like Gordon Lightfoot.
No, he would have broken that record.
Right. It then says the ship was the pride of the American side, coming back from some mill in Wisconsin. As big freighters go, it was bigger than most, with a crew and captain well seasoned, concluding some terms with a couple of steel firms when they left fully loaded for Cleveland. The
Any
hell
of that
they
right?
did. No.
Okay.
It would pick up iron ore near Duluth, and it would go to an ironworks in Detroit. So it was not headed to Cleveland.
Okay. Not even the right state.
Right. Now, on this particular night, it did leave from Superior, Wisconsin, which is across the river from Duluth, and it was en route to a steel mill near Detroit, not Cleveland. Gordon?
Yeah, Gordo. Come on, you son of a bee.
And then he gives what is arguably just a weather forecast. He goes through this whole thing. Yes. Later that night, when the ship bell rang, could it be the north wind? They feeling the wind and the wires made a tattletale sound, and the wave broke over the railing. Every man knew, and the captain did too. 'Twas the witch of November. So it's just weather. He's just telling you the weather. He spends a whole verse.
He's trying to paint a picture, Johnny. Give the dead man a break. He's trying to paint a picture at least.
It's too long.
Yes, very much so.
Now, for reasons nobody fully understands, he absolutely screws over the cook.
Yes, that comes out of left field, out of nowhere.
When supper time came, the old cook came on deck saying, "Fellas, it's too rough to feed ya." At 7 p.m., a main hatchway caved in. He said, "Fellas, it's been good to know ya." So, that one thing happened, and apparently it's the cook who just says, "We're all going to die.
We're dead. Sorry, I can't feed you." And then so there's the one too that got people pissed off. That's because they said the main hatchway caved in. No recollection, no evidence whatsoever. And everyone immediately jumped on Gordon Lightfoot and said, "Hey, this was a seasoned crew.
Yeah.
They had been doing this forever. That would not have been the reason why that son of a bitch and ship went down. And by the way, the cook was my father, and he was the bravest son of a bitch on that ship."
Right. Exactly. Why do you got to do a guy like that?
Yeah, ridiculous.
Now, there is speculation, because it was in some of the radio calls back and forth, that one of the hatchways where they load the iron ore wasn't sealed completely, and so water was coming in and weighing the ship down.
Them down.
Okay.
Okay.
So shortly after 3:30, Captain McSorley, that was the captain of the Fitzgerald, radioed the Arthur Anderson, that was another ship that was in the water at the time, that it was taking on water and lost 2 vent covers and a fence railing. You know what? That's scary and would be a much better lyric.
Very much so. Then the main hatchway gave in, and the chef just said, "Hey," or cook said, "Hey, nice to know you."
Yeah, and the vessel was starting to tip. I mean, that's legitimately scary. That's haunting.
It is.
And he just says,
much better than his story.
"The hatchway caved in, and fellas, see ya. I'm outie."
Nice to know you. Instead of us almost dipping and diving, that's way scarier. You're right.
It is, and this is like 4 hours before the ship goes down. The captain wired he had water coming in, and the good ship and crew was in peril. Later that night, when his lights went out of sight, came the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Now he's challenging the veracity of the captain.
Correct.
Because the captain was heard to say, don't allow nobody on deck, as well as something about a vent. So that's how we know that maybe some water was coming in through the ventway.
Right.
Sometime later, McSorley told Woodard, that's the captain of the other ship, I have a bad list. I've lost both radars. I'm taking heavy seas over the deck of one of the worst seas I've ever been in.
So scary once again.
Scary, but that shows a captain who's in control of his vessel and his crew. It doesn't show the good ship and crew was in peril because water was coming in. It makes it sound like he got on the radio and went, ah!
He wasn't. He was doing his damnedest to try to pull this thing out of it. But unfortunately, also, I love how he just said, hey, the lights went out. It was night. They died. That's how it was wrecked. He doesn't get any more specific. Doesn't say anything about the vents. Doesn't say anything about the list. Nothing along those lines. Just, hey, the lights went out, and that's when they sank.
At approximately 7:10, Arthur M. Anderson notified Edmund Fitzgerald of an upbound ship and asked how she was doing. McSorley reported, we're holding our own, and that's the last thing they ever heard.
Yeah.
Again, I find that a lot more haunting.
Oh, that they were just like, oh, we're okay, and then they just disappeared.
And that was it. Yeah, I mean, that's a very scary detail in there, that the last thing they heard was, hey, we're doing all right, and then that was it. There was no other communication with the ship after that, and there was no distress signal. I mean, that's how quick this thing came apart.
Huh.
Now, Mike.
Did Arthur M. Anderson ever try to contact back?
Yeah.
Or did they just... Okay.
Yeah, they did. They tried, and they called the Coast Guard, and no, it was just gone. It was gone from radar. It was, I mean, it just gotcha. by all accounts, when it went down fast. And so yeah, they sent out search crews pretty quickly.
Okay.
And
so I was gonna say, I was thinking about writing the failure of the Arthur M. Anderson as my follow up, as a B-side to it on the 50th anniversary.
Pick up the phone, Arthur M. Anderson.
And we couldn't find him or ring him.
Now, at this point, we're 3 minutes into the song.
Okay.
It's a 6.5 minute song.
And he's pretty much got nothing right, except the name of the ship and what they were carrying.
The remainder of the song, the next 3.5 minutes, is nothing.
I do love the next line. Probably one of the most bleak lines in the history of music ever.
Does anyone know where the love of God goes when the waves turn the minutes to hours? Now, this little tidbit is interesting. Well, and then he says, and look at this. I mean, he admits that he's speculating. They might have split up. They might have capsized. They may have broke deep and took water. He's as much
your guess
saying,
as good as mine.
I don't know.
Your guess is as good as mine, but I do know one thing: the cook was a wuss and the captain was terrible.
Right,
is what he's saying in the song.
And then the rest of the song is just nothing. It's just nothing. It's just, oh, it's sad. People died. The families are sad. There's a cathedral in Detroit that rings bells every November. There's nothing left to the song. There's nothing left to the song.
But he does go back to Getchu Gummy, right? We get another reappearance at Getchu Gummy.
He does go back to Getchu Gummy and kind of repeats the opening line once again.
It's kind of like almost like a high school creative writing assignment where you start with your thesis or whatever or your term paper, and then you kind of restructure it and you end with the same thing you started with.
Right.
That's what it feels like Gordo did.
Tell him what you're going to say it, and then tell him what you said. Right. That's exactly what he did.
Correct.
Yes. And so when people say, "Oh my gosh, that story in The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, it's so sad," there's no story there. There's nothing there.
No, he didn't give you much details.
No.
And the details he does give you are easily proved wrong.
Yeah, they're wrong.
Minimal research.
He concocts some stuff. He throws brave sailors under the bus for some reason, for no reason. He just does it.
Right.
And it's
What did
not
the
even
cook ever
called
do to
Getchu
him?
Gummy.
That son of a bitch. If I was, you know what? If I was the cook's family, I would have sued him for defamation a long time ago.